Hi, and welcome to the Brisbane Professionals Podcast. This is a podcast brought to you by SMS Law, going through the legal secrets that will benefit you and your clients, as well as having a little bit of fun as we go. This podcast is designed to educate you on, number one, complicated legal terms that we will explain in an easy to understand manner. Two, to understand why you do things from a legal perspective in your business. And three, to help you develop a plan for the future success of your business. Our mission is to help empower small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time that it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. This podcast is all about empowering you and your business with knowledge and tools to ensure that that doesn't happen to you or to your clients. Let's begin, shall we?
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Brisbane Professionals Podcast. My name is Craig Mason. I have with me, as always, Jeremy Stratton. Say hello to the listeners, Jeremy.
Hello listeners, I hope you're having a great day.
Indeed we are. At the moment in the podcast we're talking about employees or prospective employees as well. So this is in that sphere, and it's about when you're interviewing a candidate for a position. There's a lot of questions out there that you need to ask, a lot of commentary, those sorts of things. We've come up with 7 questions that we're going to talk about today that we consider important to ask in an interview. So Jeremy, do you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, thanks Craig. So the first one is, what challenges have you had in your previous job? Now, what you're looking for here is below the line statements, so blame, excuses, denial. If they're the type of person who go to an interview and then blame everyone else for problems that they had in their previous job and blame their employer, then they're probably not the right person for you and your business. You're really looking for above the line statements where they've had challenges and they've taken ownership, accountability and responsibility. Those kind of above the line statements are the ones that you're looking for when they're talking about challenges, because at the end of the day, you don't want people who make excuses, blame other people and deny problems in your business. Craig, the second one.
The second one is, why did you apply for this position? And I think in answering this question, you're looking for the candidate to have actually done some research into the company, considered what the position is, and then thought about why they'd be interested in that, they're passionate about it, whatever it might be. So I think it's an important question to ask, and the answer to that I think would be a good one is, I've looked at the company, I really value the way they do this, or something along those lines, rather than just sort of saying, I'm not happy with my current job, I just wanted to find a new one, or something along those lines. So important to ask that question, and I think a good candidate would have done some research and come with some prepared sort of answers to that sort of question. Jeremy, the third one.
Yeah, the third one is, what would you change about your previous job or employers? Now, if they just say, oh, nothing, it was all perfect, you probably want to run for the hills, because no one's perfect, and what you want is people who work with you who will provide you feedback, because no one's perfect. And if you're looking for that, then great. But most of the people who listen to our podcast wouldn't be in that vein. What you want is someone who will make suggestions and should feel comfortable about doing that, because no one's perfect, and you want to make sure that employees feel like they can provide that feedback. Craig, the next one.
The next one is, what do you love most about your current / previous job? And so that's again a question about their previous position, and it's looking for the positive out of that, rather than what tends to happen sometimes in interviews is bagging out a previous employer or a reason why you've left. So this question is asking for the positives, which there normally would be, I guess, in most other jobs. But so it's what is it they loved about it, and you can gauge from that. I loved the team atmosphere. I loved the ability to work independently, or whatever it might have been. That shows a good indication as to what they might bring to your position as well, as to what they loved in the previous one. And it all ties into why they might be looking for that next job. They're moving on, they've moved to a different state, whatever it might be. So what did you love about the previous job that you had is an important question. Jeremy, the next one for you, what was it?
Yeah, it was to ask them to tell you about a time that they failed, or a time that they could have done better. Again, no one's perfect. Anyone who says that they can't really is kidding themselves, and you probably should run for the hills because they really are someone that is just going to blame everyone else. So asking them about a failure and when they could have done better really helps to work out who's a genuine person for your business. And I think it's a really important question. It will throw them. Don't jump in and save them. Most people don't ask that question, but don't jump in and save them. Let them come back with a response, and even if you have to have an awkward silence for 30 seconds, you want to see whether or not they've got something, because everyone's got something, and you want to know what that is. Craig, the next one.
Yeah, and the next one's sort of the flip side to that question, and is what has been your biggest success so far. So a lot of people, when they go to interviews, sort of go in the middle between failures and success, and people don't necessarily like talking about the failures and then the huge or the biggest success that you've had. But it's important to ask that question. As similar to what Jeremy said, they might take a while to answer it, but it gives some really good insight into that candidate as to what their biggest success has been. Again, if they're saying things like, the team did this or whatever, then it's showing a good team attitude. But it's important to, if it's all I, then maybe you might want to think about that as well. So, but it's a good question to ask. What's your biggest success so far? And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the job. I guess it could be personally as well, but good to get some insight about their successes. The last one, Jerry.
Yeah, the last one is, what is your ideal workday like? And so here you want them to tell you about what they want to do during the day. Again, don't save them. Let them come back. It's an unusual question, but it will tell you, are they the type of person who will go the extra mile to help you out when you need them? Or are they the type of person who just want a 9-to-5 job? And that might be right for some roles, but you really need to determine what that person is and who you want in that role. Can I just say, that's it for the top questions to ask, but I just wanted to reiterate one point, that really take your time in the interview process, do a couple of interviews and get to know these people. You're going to end up working with them for a long period of time, hopefully, and so an hour interview may not be enough. Spend a couple of hours getting to know them and ask them these kind of questions, and you'll make sure that you're feeling comfortable with them going forward. So, Craig, there we go. That's our 7 questions to ask in an interview.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy, and thank you, listeners, for joining us. I would like to ask a small favour, if we could. Once you finish listening to this, if you could jump on and rate and review the podcast. Give it whatever stars you feel comfortable with. We'd like 5 if you can. And the reason why we're asking for that favour is just so other people can see the reviews and the ratings, and more people can listen to the podcast, because we want to get as many listeners as possible, obviously, so we can share all the information that we have with them, and be here to answer questions and help where we can. If you also want to follow us on Twitter, like the SMS Law Facebook page, to get updates through there, and also search on LinkedIn for us. We're on all of those platforms, and as I said previously, we share information, other articles and various other things in those platforms, so jump on there and get some more information other than the podcast. That's it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you next